Hey there, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a framework for well-being it's surprisingly simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It's called the Program for Self-Regulation and Health. And honestly, it might just change the way you think about taking care of yourself. So, let's get right into it.
We live in a world that's just packed with complicated diets, crazy workout plans. It's so easy to feel totally overwhelmed. But what if the answer wasn't some big hidden secret? What if it's really just about getting back to the basics? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to walk through a super straightforward approach that can help pretty much anyone build a more resilient life.
So, here's how I want you to think about it. We're building something. We're building a really strong foundation for your well-being, just one simple block at a time. And the cool part is, each element we cover today actually supports all the others, creating a structure that's both simple and unbelievably stable.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, with any good structure, you've got to start with a solid foundation, right? So our very first building block is all about nurturing the body. We're going to look at the essential inputs it needs to thrive before we even think about doing anything else.
I mean, it really doesn't get more fundamental than this, does it? These are the four pillars of our physical health. Think of them as the raw materials your body uses to build literally everything else. You've got nutritious food for fuel, clean water for hydration, fresh air for every single one of your cells, and sunlight for vital stuff like vitamin D. Before we can optimize anything, we have to make sure these absolute basics are in place.
And this is where things get really interesting. See, it's not just about what you're doing, it's also about when you do it. Having a consistent routine for things like sleep, meals, even your basic hygiene, it creates this predictable, comforting rhythm for your body. And that rhythm, it lowers stress and just promotes incredible stability. You could almost call it the invisible architecture holding your entire health together.
All right, so the foundation is in place. It's solid. Let's add the next layer. Once the body is being properly nurtured with all the right inputs, and it's got a solid routine, the very next principle is to put it into purposeful action. Yep, it's time to move.
Okay, now this is a super important distinction, especially for us living in the modern world. The ideal form of movement is what this framework calls physical labor. And no, that doesn't mean backbreaking work. It just means active, integrated movement throughout your day. But let's be real, when our lifestyles are more sedentary, exercise becomes the intentional substitute. The big takeaway here is that our bodies are designed to move, and we have to find a way to honor that, one way or another.
So we've covered nurturing the body, and we've covered moving it with purpose. Now let's turn our attention inward. This next building block, it's all about cultivating that internal harmony, that inner balance that's going to complement all of our external actions.
This brings us to this idea of mindfulness in motion. And this isn't about being some amazing athlete. It's about the quality of your everyday movements. I mean, just take a second. How are you sitting right now? How do you walk? It is amazing how simply being aware and maintaining a balanced, conscious posture can have such a profound impact on your overall well-being.
Look, we all breathe without thinking about it, right? It just happens. But this principle invites us to use our breath as a conscious tool. A calm, deep breath is like hitting a reset button for our entire nervous system. It's this simple, powerful practice that can refresh not just your body, but your entire mental state, yourself, in any given moment. Seriously, even just taking 3 deep breaths can make a huge difference.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most crucial building block. This is like the capstone of the whole framework. Having the wisdom to know how to respond when your health is challenged, when you get sick.
The framework makes a really smart distinction here. The first line of defense, which it calls medicine, is all about assisting your body's own natural ability to heal. But then there's treatment, and that's the vital recognition that sometimes, self-care just isn't going to cut it. And this really gets to the heart of it all. This whole framework is not about avoiding doctors or just trying to tough it out. True wisdom when it comes to your health means recognizing your own limits and seeking out professional help when you need it. That is not a failure. That is intelligent self-management.
Okay, so we've looked at all the individual pieces, all the building blocks. Now, let's put them all together and take a look at the complete picture. This is how these simple little pieces form one powerful, holistic system for your health.
And here it is, the complete structure. See how it flows? It all starts with nurturing the body. From that foundation, you move it with purpose. Then you work on cultivating internal harmony. And finally, you act with wisdom, especially when you're not feeling well. You can really see how each step just logically follows the last, creating this incredibly solid foundation for health.
And that, right there, is the real takeaway. This isn't some rigid checklist where if you make one mistake, you've failed. It's about building a responsive, resilient system. So if you have a terrible night's sleep, a good routine and some conscious breathing can help you recover. It's all about balance over time, not perfection in every single moment.
So, as we finish up here, I'm just going to leave you with this question. Looking at these simple but powerful building blocks, nurturing your body, moving with purpose, cultivating harmony, and acting with wisdom, which one of those do you think needs just a little more of your attention right now? What's one tiny change you could make, maybe even today?